Hello, everyone, and I would like to introduce you our first expert on selling with Amazon.
Bradley.
Bradley, could you tell us a few words about your experience with Amazon and how it happened that you decided to do this instead of anything else?
Yeah, well, originally I worked for a company that was selling on Amazon. They really didn't know what they were doing. I was just kind of the logistics person. I was a part owner in the company, but they were so successful in phone cases. They were selling more than 1,000 units per SKU per day, and they had like 10 SKUs. So you could just imagine how much they were doing. But they didn't really teach me what was going on with Amazon. Eventually, I split from them, and I just dedicated myself to learning about Amazon. And and what I did was, instead of starting like my own private label, I became a consultant for Amazon sellers. And over the next couple of years, I personally launched over 400 products on Amazon, not for myself, but for other people. And then all throughout this time, just for myself, I just kept like a wholesale account. So I would make $200,000-300,000 a year just doing wholesale on Amazon. But my main focus was building up other people's companies and other people's products. And then a couple of years ago, I got hired by Helium 10, and so now I'm the director of training there at Helium 10. And so I live and breathe Amazon like the last 4 years, 5 years, pretty much.
Can you tell more about like what is Helium 10 and what they do?
Yeah, so Helium 10, how I started using them, I didn't just get hired by them. I was actually just a user of Helium 10, because as a consultant for Amazon sellers, you need tools. So I would have like 7 or 8 different tools before, one for Chrome extension, one for product research. But then I discovered Helium 10, and the difference was it was just kind of like all in one. So it was everything from product research, keyword research, listing optimization, financial analytics, email automation, landing pages, everything I could do in one suite of tools. And so that's basically what we do. We try and just be an A to Z suite for Amazon sellers. If they're selling private label, if they're selling wholesale, if they're doing arbitrage, we try and provide something for them. Days, it's almost impossible not to use a tool. Like, you don't have to use Helium 10. There's plenty of tools out there. But 5 years ago, when my former partners I was just talking about were doing the cell phone cases, you didn't need tools. There actually wasn't any tools in those days. Almost, you could just go on Amazon and put a phone case and make $1 million. But you can't do that anymore. There's so many competitors. It's harder to find where is the opportunity, and I think that's where tools really come in, because the automation, you need that advantage over the rest of the competition.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, since we have many people here who are thinking about switching from their industries to, for online business, and someone they have a clue like how it works. Some people don't. There's two ways basically how you can sell and work with Amazon, right? The first one is called FBA, like fulfilled by Amazon. And then the second one is FBM, fulfilled by merchandiser, right?
Yes.
What is the difference?
Interesting. You just mentioned how some people might be interested in changing their industry. The reason why I was late coming on this call is I was actually recording on our podcast, the Serious Sellers podcast, one of my guests, and her name is Anne. And she actually had a great job. What some people would think is a great job. She was an attorney making 6 figures in the UK, but she was working 16 hours a day and just like felt like she could have no life. So she left that, and now on Amazon, she is grossing $1.4 million a year with 40% profit margins. So regardless of what industry you are in, whether you're an attorney like Anne, or you're in construction, or you're in fast food worker and you're looking for a change, Amazon is great, just like you said. So the two different ways about fulfilled by merchant, fulfilled by Amazon. I think everybody probably watching this who is here in the States, in the USA, probably most of you are Amazon Prime members. I'm an Amazon Prime. Are you Amazon Prime? Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. So what we do is, we love, the reason why we're paying $100 a year, or whatever, is because it's great to be able to get in 2 days, or in some cities like Los Angeles, you can get products within 1 or 2 hours. So because of that, it's always suggested to have a listing FBA or fulfilled by Amazon with Prime, because you'll be able to get a lot more customers that way. Even when I'm buying on Amazon, I even hit the filter. I was like, I only want to see Prime because I know that it'll usually get to me in 1 or 2 days. But at the same time, I always suggest people have as a backup the fulfilled by merchant. And that's because not everybody has Amazon Prime. So there are some customers who just don't have the Prime membership. And if you only have the Prime listing, sometimes your product won't even show up for them, or it's going to cost so
Can I
much
ask
in
you,
shipping. Yeah, go ahead.
do you have actual data how many people in US they do have Amazon Prime and vs people who don't pay for Prime?
Amazon doesn't publish that information, but there's a website, I believe, a marketplace Pulse, they had like an estimate, and they estimated, I think it was something like 110 million people, or 110 million in the U.S. have Amazon Prime. But if you look at the data of the sales, like I said, on my accounts, I do both always. It's maybe at least 90% of the sales come from the Prime listing, and then maybe 10% only are the non-Prime listings. So that's usually a good number to use as well.
Has the situation changed now?
Well, I mean, what's happening right now is that there are some products and some categories where even if you order at FBA, it says that it's going to take 30 days to get to you.
Yeah.
Now, this just came out a couple of days ago at the time that we're filming this, so it's hard to say what's going to happen. But I strongly think that is not the case. That it's going to be a lot faster than that. Who knows? We're going to see. But some people are what's happening is they're scared that it's true, and that if a customer sees that, they're going to be like, "No, I can't wait that long." And that's true. This very microphone. I'm now working at home because we can't go anywhere here in California. And so I needed to recreate my studio that I have at work here at home. This microphone I left in the office. So I'm like, hey, I need this microphone. I went to Amazon last week, and it said 5 days delivery. And I'm like, I can't wait 5 days. So I ended up going to Best Buy and I bought it. So it is true. Yes, some customers who see that there's a delay in delivery, maybe they might lose the sale. Now that's not too much of a worry because most stores malls are closed right now, so people still have to buy it online. But some sellers are changing to fulfilled by merchant if they have their own inventory or if they use a third party warehouse, because they can ship faster than Amazon right now.
So do you think it will last long, or
I don't think so. Amazon just is in the process of hiring 100,000 new employees because they're so busy right now because of everybody just kind of, I don't know what you call it, panic buying. That's why there's no hand sanitizer, no toilet paper, and necessities. And so they had to put this delay because the important items were getting pushed back. But with all the new employees coming, I think it'll get resolved soon. Now, something could happen. Like, imagine if the top 10 FBA warehouses had to be locked down for 1 week because there was some coronavirus from one of the employees. So, I mean, if that happens, I mean, who knows? But I can't predict any of those kind of things happening. But if everything stays kind of normal, I think within the next few weeks, the delivery times will be back to normal.
I see. So if someone decides to start business on Amazon right now, is it a good time, or it's a good time to plan?
It depends what you mean by start a business. Like, if somebody wants to get into learn Amazon right now, I say absolutely do it right now, because it'll take you a few weeks to learn, everything. Like, if you're taking a course or if you're studying videos or whatever, it'll take a few weeks. And then it'll take another few weeks to kind of do the research to find your first product. And then few weeks for the product to be produced, and then a month to arrive here. So by the time that whole thing goes through, it's going to be a completely different situation now. Everything will probably be back to normal. So I say don't wait to start to learn. Now, if somebody is already ready to place the order or to ship the product to Amazon, well, maybe you should wait a little bit, because some categories right now, you actually can't send new inventory into Amazon. You can only send it to 6 categories, like the health category, beauty, grocery, baby, and pet, and industrial and scientific. Like, outside of those, Amazon is not even accepting the new shipment. So at least wait. If you're not in one of those categories and you're ready to ship, you have to wait until you're allowed to send product there.
Okay, so that's good to know. Let's get back to your first experience and when you decided that you can do it. And so how to pick your first product? What's your advice?
My advice is you have to find something that there's demand for, first of all. Like I always use this example that you can't just have a great idea or an invention and put it on Amazon and be successful. Like I'm just looking at my desk. I have a little sumo character here. Okay. So like let's say I had a sumo character and if I squeeze this, water comes out. It's like a water gun. I mean, who knows? I'm just making something up. And maybe that's the coolest thing in the world. I would not be successful selling this on Amazon because nobody knows something like that exists. So they're not searching on Amazon sumo wrestler with water gun or something like that. So because of nobody's searching for it, nobody's going to find my product. So you have to make sure that there's demand. And again, that's where the tools come in. Tools can tell you if there's search volume or demand for a product.
Like
And
Jungle Scout, Hello,
sure,
or
plenty,
Every Scout, any kind of
almost any tool out there
Mhm.
will help you with searching for the demand. But then once you have that, just because there is demand, I wouldn't say go make a iPhone 11 phone case because 1 million people are searching for it a month. Because if you look at iPhone 11 phone case, there are thousands and thousands of sellers who are doing already very well and have 1,000 reviews and stuff. And you come in with a brand new product and no reviews and no brand name, nobody's going to pay attention to your product. So in a nutshell, I say look for where there's demand, but where the existing competition is not very strong. Maybe they're newer or they don't have great listings. And then those are really the key areas where you can, the barrier of entry is less. You can hop into a category like that and be successful from the beginning because the competition is not that great.
What was your first product you sold?
The first products I would sell was those phone cases necessarily, and then I went into for wholesale. I was doing all like health products, like supplements. That was my big thing. One of the first private label products that I made for another seller was actually a toothbrush, and that was one of the most successful ones I ever did. That the one thing
Electric one,
not
or
electric. It was like a kind of like a bamboo toothbrush from Korea. And I told them, it was funny because why I like being a consultant was if the product, was great or it was terrible, it doesn't matter. I still get paid. But I would tell them, they would give me these ideas. I'm like, guys, this is not a good idea. It's too competitive. And they're like, no, 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 still do it, still do it. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And that was one, because for toothbrushes, everything was like Colgate and like very fancy brands. I'm like, there's no way that somebody's going to get this Korean product and like it. But sure enough, it became like a really good seller because of our promotion, and that's one of my favorite ones I ever worked on, a toothbrush of all things.
that's awesome. Thanks for sharing this. What about innovative products vs cheap Chinese products from Alibaba?
Um, I think you can have innovative products from China. I mean, China factories are very advanced, but just be aware that the more you can differentiate and have higher quality, the better. Like for example, the woman I just interviewed right now, I was talking about Anne. The reason why she can do 40% profit margin when almost nobody has that kind of profit margin now on Amazon is because she actually has a very high end product. So people in her category, it's a baby product, they sell it for $30 or $40. Her product, she sells it for $70. And the reason is she actually gets it from China, but she had gotten samples from all kinds of factories in China, and she picked the very best one. And it was actually, the cost was twice as much, more than twice as much as the other factories, but she picked it because she wanted to market it as a high-end product. And sure enough, the people who are trying to buy things for their baby, they wanted the higher end and they liked that it was expensive and really good quality. So in that case, because of that, now her profit margins are way higher than anybody else who's selling that product.
Absolutely. So you should point and focus on the quality, right?
Absolutely.
That's win-win situation. Like there's so many people right now telling you that they know how to teach you how to sell on Amazon. For any beginner, it's a challenge to find someone who really knows how to do it, because there's no schools, from what I know, right, or like institute or universities where you can actually, pay and get like a serious education about,
Sure.
online sales. So, what's your advice? How to find the right person, and how to define like a good expert vs bad expert?
Yeah, it's tough because everybody says the same things, and they have fancy videos, and you see with Lamborghinis and mansion, and you think, oh, that I want to be like that. But a lot of times they're just expert at marketing, not necessarily with Amazon. Is try to find their community. Like a lot of these people and their companies have open Facebook groups. So try and find. I mean, if they don't have an open group or open Facebook group or something, then I would be kind of worried a little bit about it. But if they have a Facebook group or message board or something where you can talk to real people who have used it, that's usually the best way. Talk to people, say, hey, you've studied, or you've studied their videos, or you've studied their course. What's your honest opinion of it, and then just see if it's for you. But at the end of the day, even you do that, it's not a guarantee that it's going to be the best, the best for you. But I would suggest not paying $10,000 or $5,000 for somebody you don't know. Like if you have a personal friend who has taken a course that costs $5,000 and they recommend it, okay, then maybe it's legit. But if you don't know anybody who is doing it firsthand, there's so much free information out there that I would go for the free information that's on YouTube, and study those instead of paying like a lot of money for a fancy course.
That's very helpful, especially for people right now. No one has much money for, paying $5,000 to a person you
Of
don't know.
course. Yeah.
Right? Can you tell me about your profit when you started, selling on the first year? Like, was it big, or you had loss, or how was it?
Yeah, for me, the reason I was doing it, like when I was selling on Amazon for wholesale, and I still do. I kind of turned it over to my family now that I work for Helium 10. But the main reasons was twofold. Like one, I needed to. I like cash flow. I wanted to have constant cash flow, and being able to buy inventory, and I haven't paid for a airplane flight and I don't know how long, because for all my inventory I buy like with credit cards, and I get the airplane miles and everything. And so like I get all my flights are free because of my Amazon business. But in those days, the actual profit was, especially in wholesale, even now, it's maybe only about 15% for the wholesale. Now, recently, we did a big series where we launched a private label product from scratch, and we made it like public. So it's on YouTube. It's People can search for Helium 10 Project X, and we just showed them the every step of the way. We found the product and then we sold it. And so that one, it's a private label product. One is an egg tray, and one is a shelf that looks like a coffin, like most random products. And the profit margins there is about 25%. And if you can get 20 to 25% for private label, that's pretty good. Not everybody gets 40% like Anne that I was talking about.
Could you explain for beginners what private label means? Because
Sure.
no one knows probably.
Yeah. So private label, like for example, here's a pen I have, and it's Papermate. That's like a very famous brand. Now private label, like maybe let's pretend this is the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm a Los Angeles Clippers fan, not Lakers. So forget the Lakers. But anyways, maybe this is the same pen, but what from the same factory, I don't know. But what this basketball team did was they got that pen, and they got the original pen, and then now they put their logo on it, and they're selling it as a Los Angeles Clippers pen. So that's kind of like how private label works. Is you find a factory that's producing a product that you want. Maybe it has no brand at all on it, and then now you make it your own brand, and then you say, hey, this is Bradley's brand of product. And you're it's not your factory, you're not producing this in your own house or something, but you put your label on the product and you sell it as your own brand.
Thank you for explaining this. Can you recommend some bloggers?
Well, I like to follow certain people who are always having cutting edge ideas in Amazon strategy, because one thing about Amazon is what worked in 2018 is completely different than what's working now. So that's by the way one way that you could tell about the educators who is good or not if their strategy is 2 years old. So one person I follow, he's actually from Israel, Tomer Rabinovich. He always has amazing new strategies about product research and keyword research. And just in general, I follow sometimes the blog from another friend. She's from Germany, um, and her website is sermondo.com. They're kind of a website that just is like a directory for all kinds of different companies who have to deal with Amazon or e-commerce. Like, hey, I need to find a good company that does photography, or I need to find a software company, or I need to find a tax company. But she, on her website, she makes some great blogs too. So sermondo.com. But uh, other than that, I don't follow too much on like just blogs, but I follow a lot of people on LinkedIn, and they don't normally always post, but just to, if you follow people on LinkedIn or in social media and you have them in your news feed, at least every day one of them is posting something interesting. So I always make sure every day just to check my social media feeds, and they're not making it necessarily in a blog form, but if they find some new strategy, they'll put it in their social media, and that's how I catch up to it usually.
When you say strategy, what do you mean by that?
Strategy is like for example, in this past week, there, like you said, there have been changes in FBA and FBM and also PPC. So somebody made a video about, hey, for my PPC, I'm actually lowering my bid, so my cost. PPC is pay per click, the sponsored ads for Amazon. So that's what I like to hear. Like, who is really making some content that talks about what is happening on Amazon today and how you can change your business to adapt to what Amazon is doing.
That's very helpful. I would definitely Google those people, and I really can't wait. You will text me the names, so I will start reading myself.
Sure.
So when you decide to start your own business and you start doing a business online, your workplace usually starts from home.
Sure.
Usually, right? So
Hmm.
you don't need to go to the office anymore. So you have very nice access to your refrigerator with full of food all the time. You have TV, you have other stuff and games maybe.
Yeah.
So, and you have social media, which distracts you all the time, like Instagram, Facebook, and whatever. The question is this, how to stay focused and concentrated in this environment and keep working? Because from my understanding, if you want to make money and seriously do business on Amazon, it's a 24/7 work from home, right?
Yeah. For me, it's about being passionate. If you're not passionate about what you're doing and you don't just love it, you're going to be able to get distracted easily. It doesn't matter if you're at home, if you're at the office, and you don't love what you're doing, you're going to be daydreaming. Yeah, you're going to be on your social media. You're going to be going to the lunchroom too often, or wherever. But so it doesn't matter what business you're doing, whether it's home business or work, or at an office business, but you need to be passionate and love it, like almost needs to feel like it's not work, because in that case there's nothing that's going to break your concentration. Sometimes I'll work for 16, 20 hours straight, and it's like it wasn't even work for me because I love it so much. So if whatever you're doing right now, whatever your job is, regardless of how much money you're making, if that's not how you feel about your work, then yeah, you're going to get distracted no matter where you are. But for me, yeah, sometimes if when I would work at home, I could take 2 hours and do something else. But then maybe when my family is sleeping, like at 10 o'clock at night, I'll just go back to it and I'll be able to work until 3 in the morning, no problem. So the number one key for staying focused, I think, is you need to love what you do. And if you don't love it, maybe you should be doing something else. Find something that you do love to do.
And I'm pretty sure many people right now will rethink about their, jobs because everyone stuck at home and you have some, free time and you can review your life. And maybe like many people will decide to switch doing business on Amazon or eBay or, anything
Sure.
else, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have the last question, and we are limited with time here. Could you tell me if you lose everything today, like money and job and everything, what would you do tomorrow?
What would I do tomorrow? If it was possible, I would just start all over again on Amazon. But if Amazon is not, because I think no matter what, even if something really bad happens, like maybe you had a big brand on Amazon and now the brand got a lawsuit or something, I can't do it. I would just start over because I love Amazon. But the one of my other passions I like doing is I did up until a couple years ago, I was a Zumba fitness instructor for,
Oh,
and
wow, that's
I
awesome.
would travel around the world doing it. And lately, the last 2 years, I've been so busy, I haven't been able to do that. But if I had more time, like right now, like I stopped working at Helium 10 or something, I would definitely get right back into doing that because it's one of my passions.
And you can start online Zumba lessons, right?
Yep. I mean, that was what got me to be able to travel, is because I made this YouTube channel, Crazy Sock TV. I made like a funny character, and I would wear a funny sock on my arm, and I would get millions and millions of views. I'm not a professional dancer. I'm not that great, but I'm kind of funny when I dance, and I dress funny, so people could remember it. But it goes back to what I was talking about. For me, the ultimate thing that you could do for work is, number one, something that you love so much you would actually pay to do it, or you did pay to do it. And number two, something that helps others. So I had that before, because as a Zumba instructor, I lost 70 pounds. Before I was an instructor, I did Zumba, and I paid to go to the gym to take Zumba, and I lost 70 pounds. But then I became an instructor, and now people were paying me to do what I already love to do. So that's just like amazing. And I was helping people to lose weight. And so it was like the best job I could ever have. And I was like, oh, I'm never gonna have that again. But then I found, working for Helium 10 now, I used to pay to use Helium 10 because I love the software. And now I'm being paid, I'm being paid to use it, and I'm helping people to make money. So with those things, like if you can find that combination of two things for your professional career, that to me is the ultimate.
Bradley, thank you so much. I would like to thank you for very useful information. Last words for people who lost their jobs and they kind of, don't know what's going to happen. And do you think Amazon business can really help in the situation when we all stuck for no one knows for how long?
Yeah, I think Amazon is the best way to go, and people will see that more often now, because now a lot of people who weren't buying online, now they have no choice. They have to buy online. And some of these people are going to be like, wow, why didn't I do this before? So even when things get back to normal, I think that those new people are still going to be buying online. So I think that if people buy online or sell online, it's going to be something that's never going to go away.